Cinderella. Long ago, a kind and beautiful girl lived happily in a mansion with her parents. Her father was respected by everyone, and her mother was a warm-hearted woman. One day, quite suddenly, her mother fell seriously ill. She passed away one morning, despite the girl's devoted care for days on end. Overwhelmed with grief, the girl was inconsolable. Longing to see her mother's gentle smile, she wept every day. Her father, thinking his daughter would cheer up in a new family, decided to take a second wife. One day, the girl's stepmother came to the mansion with her own 2 daughters. She hated her stepdaughter because the girl was more beautiful and graceful than her own daughters. The stepmother and her daughters ignored the girl when she greeted them. The girl was sad to see their attitude. The next morning, her father left on a long journey. He told the girl, "While I'm away, please obey your mother." "Yes, father," answered the girl. As soon as her father had left home, the stepmother dismissed the maid working in the mansion. Taking away the girl's beautiful dresses, the stepmother forced her to wear tattered rags. "From now on, you will work as a maid." From early in the morning to late at night, she was forced to do household chores, such as cooking, washing, ironing, sewing, and cleaning the large mansion. Her stepsisters did not help her. On the contrary, they were amused when they saw her hard at work. The girl was given only a small meal every day, a piece of bread and some beans. Her stepmother and stepsisters sometimes maliciously scattered the beans in the cinders of the cooking stove. The girl had no choice but to pick up the beans from the cinders. Her stepsisters laughed when her clothes got dirty with all the hard work. They said, "Ha ha ha! You are covered in ash all over. We shall call you Cinderella." After that, the girl was called Cinderella, meaning a dirty girl covered in cinders. The stepmother forced Cinderella to move out of her beautiful room and live in the attic. When she rested in the dark garret after working hard all day, she thought of her own kind mother and said, "Mother in heaven, I am obeying my stepmother, as I promised father, but it's very hard. Please watch over me." One day, a messenger brought the stepsisters invitations to a party in the castle. The prince was going to choose a bride from the girls at the party. The stepsisters were ecstatic when they read the invitations. "I'm so happy! What am I supposed to do? I must dress up." On the day of the party, they thought of nothing but their dresses and hair accessories. "What looks best on my hair, Cinderella?" Cinderella helped them choose hair accessories, brush their hair and dress up. The sisters went all dressed up to the castle, leaving Cinderella behind. Left alone, Cinderella was overcome with sorrow. She wept as she sat in front of the fireplace. Suddenly, a fairy appeared, surrounded by brightly twinkling stars, and said, "Cinderella, stop crying. You want to go to the party in the castle, don't you?" Cinderella nodded. "I know you have been a good girl. Follow me," the fairy told Cinderella. The fairy led Cinderella to a pumpkin patch at the back of the house. Smiling at Cinderella, she quickly waved her magic wand. A large pumpkin was surrounded by twinkling stars and turned into a golden carriage. Cinderella could not believe her eyes. Next, the fairy waved her wand over some mice. 4 of them were transformed into horses. 2 lizards, given a wave of the wand, turned into dazzling dressed coachmen. "It's wonderful!" cried Cinderella. "But I cannot go in these clothes." "Don't worry, trust me. A wave of the magic wand gave her a beautiful party dress. The last bit of magic was a pair of pretty glass slippers. Now, go to the dance with these slippers on. But remember to leave the castle before 12, because when the bell has finished tolling 12 o'clock, the spell will end and you will find yourself in tatters, said the fairy. Cinderella answered, "Yes, fairy, thank you very much." Cinderella excitedly got into the carriage. "Let's go!" The coachman started off with a shout. The carriage sped lightly toward the castle and in a while arrived there. The major domo and the attendants were astounded by Cinderella's beauty and elegance and wondered who this gorgeous princess was. They politely showed the lady into the hall. When Cinderella appeared at the ball, there was a momentary stir. What a beautiful princess! She may be chosen as the prince's bride. Cinderella's stepmother and stepsisters, who did not recognize her, also admired the beautiful lady. The prince came up to the princess, who was the focus of everyone's attention. He was fascinated by her beauty and immediately fell in love with her. "Would you like to dance with me?" he asked. "With pleasure," answered Cinderella, blushing. The prince started dancing with Cinderella to the tune of a light waltz. Cinderella danced so well that the other guests were enthralled by the grace of the two elegant figures, the handsome prince and Cinderella. The prince, captivated by Cinderella, talked tenderly to her. Suddenly, the large clock in the hall started ringing. "Goodness, it's 12 o'clock!" Cinderella was enjoying herself so much that she had completely forgotten the fairy's warning. "The spell is about to end. I have to go!" Cinderella cried. She rushed out of the hall. "Princess, what's the matter?" The prince tried to stop her, but she sped down the stairs. Then one of her glass slippers came off. There was no time for her to go back and get it, because the clock would have finished ringing. She fled the castle as fast as she could. When Cinderella's carriage reached the edge of the town, the bell stopped ringing. The carriage turned back into a pumpkin, the horses into mice, and the coachman into lizards. Cinderella's dress turned back into old tattered rags, and she was left with one glass slipper. Cinderella gazed at the silhouette of the castle far away. The party was like a dream. I wonder if I will ever see the prince again. Cinderella wondered wistfully, a tear rolling down her cheek. Holding Cinderella's slipper, the prince looked out at the town bathed in moonlight. "Where are you? Why did you run away so suddenly? I will find you somehow," said the prince to the owner of the glass slipper, who was somewhere in the town. The next morning, the prince ordered his men to make every girl in the land try on the slipper to see if it fitted perfectly. All the girls were excited at the news. They tried on the slipper one after another, but there was no foot on which it fitted perfectly. The men visited Cinderella's house. The stepmother, taking advantage of this unexpected chance, tried to squeeze her daughter's feet into the glass slipper. Ouch! Their feet were too large. However hard she tried, her daughters only shouted with pain. Just then, Cinderella appeared. She timidly asked the men, "May I try it on?" Struck by her noble beauty, despite the shabby clothes, the men helped her put on the glass slipper. It fitted Cinderella's delicate foot perfectly. Cinderella took out the other glass slipper from her pocket and showed it to all the astonished people around. "You are the princess for whom the prince has been searching," exclaimed the men joyfully. Surprised to find that Cinderella had been the beautiful princess at the party, her stepsisters apologized for their unkindness. Cinderella, being warm-hearted, forgave them. Cinderella left for the castle with the men in their coach. When she alighted from the carriage, she found herself dressed in gorgeous clothes. Cinderella heard the fairy saying, "Congratulations, Cinderella. This spell will last forever." "Thank you very much, fairy, for having changed my life," said Cinderella. prince was overjoyed to see the beautiful princess again. He found Cinderella even more beautiful than before. Cinderella and the prince were married and lived happily ever after.